Howdy, howdy, and welcome to another wonderful Trash Take. Today we're talking about Coffeezilla and gambling. If some of you saw recently, Kash Patel announced some giant sting operation by the FBI, putting a bunch of degenerate gamblers who were basically cheating systems for, I think, the NBA, and put them in jail, or at least brought federal charges up and arrested them while they're awaiting trial now. This has been a larger problem in America. I've noticed recently, over at least like the past 10 years, an exponential explosion in gambling, to where even at one point, one of my friends talked about them never watching any sports, downloading, I think it was some, what was it, DraftKings? I think it was DraftKings, downloading DraftKings to gamble on the Super Bowl when they've never even watched football. Gambling is hitting new levels of degeneracy because it's absolutely readily accessible everywhere. Even Robinhood, during this last election cycle, I'll admit, I gambled there. Robinhood allowed you to bet on who would be president. I put all my money in Tesla and then put $100 on Trump. And I won. And that was probably the dumbest thing I've ever done with my money, because if I had lost, I'd be living in a hobo box outside of a tent begging for crack. But that's just me making fun of gamblers. I don't gamble per se. I do the stock market. That's the only real form of gambling, and I do consider it gambling. You can do some safe bets. You can also do some really low bets. You can follow Wall Street bets and lose all your money. Either way, gambling is becoming a modern part of today's society, and it's getting to the part where even kids are affected. There's Roblox games that involve gambling. There's loot boxes when you go to Target to get like little, oh, look, it's a My Little Pony, but you don't know which one's in the box. They have loot boxes for kids. They have loot boxes for Pokemon cards. Everything's a loot box. Everything's gambling. And Coffeezilla made a banger video about him breaking down the degeneracy and how openly, readily available gambling has become. Because I know it's basically been allowed now in basically every state for online gambling markets. I think they call it like a futures market or something. They try to say you're not really gambling, you're just predicting. And they offer some virtual currency instead of real currency, and you buy the virtual currency and you get it for free, so you don't ever have to actually spend money. Like there's a bunch of like raffles and a bunch of scam things. Because I used to have an app called Yotta, YOTTA, and it was a really cool app that would like allow you to hold your money and get you investments, and then just turn to like straight gambling. Like they started doing like, you can get one free ticket a day, or you can spend $100 to get 100 tickets, and then one person wins $10,000, and whoever spends the most tickets increase your chances. And it turned into degenerate gambling real quick, and I saw what it was, and I pulled my money out immediately. I've not looked at that app since, but Coffeezilla broke down a banger video, so we're going to dive into that today. As always, I'll post Coffeezilla's video in the description so you can watch it yourself. This is a really cool guy I've been following closely, especially with gambling and cryptocurrency. He's very big exposing a bunch of cryptocurrency scams because every social media influencer nowadays has an IQ of 80, and and the people that follow them have an IQ of 70. So they'll do pump and dump schemes with crypto scams like they're going out of style because they know they're stupid, then they think it's a good idea, and their audience is even dumber, and they think it's an even better idea. So it's very popular, it's very common, and a lot of these people are causing everyone to lose their money. But let's see what he has to say.
It used to be you'd lose your money on slots in Vegas, but today, not only can you do that, you can also bet on your favorite sports team.
Yeah, that actually reminds me, we're 2 seconds in, sorry. I actually did go to a casino once. My dad said, let's go to the store after I had a conversation about if I've ever been to a casino, and I was like, no. And I was like, that's kind of weird. And then as soon as we got in the car, he's like, all right, we're going to go to Choctaw Casino, some shit. I lived in Texas. There were no casinos in Texas, so you had to drive to Oklahoma, and I was close enough to the northern side to where we could drive. And after like 2 hours, we finally get there, get to the casino, get some food, waste like $1,000, and it was like the last $5 right before we leave. My dad went to the bathroom, and I played some stupid like frog game, and I won like 20 different jackpots, and basically just won all the money back we spent. And I was like, yeah, we're taking this and we're leaving. And that's the only time I've ever been to a casino, and I will never go back. I don't care for gambling. I lose $5 and I'm plotting on how I can plant an IED in the bathroom and destroy this building while minimizing casualties against the populace. That's my kind of brain. That's the kind of stuff my brain immediately goes to. So I do not gamble. That's going to put me in jail for life, and I don't want to be in jail.
The opening coin toss on this individual pitch, or on all three in a parlay.
Yeah, parlays are crazy. You could put $2 on the line and win $1 million. It's got to be stuff like Donald Trump catches an interception, Jesus is reborn, and lightning strikes 3 times as the ball's in the air. Parlays are crazy gambling.
Watch, you don't just have to gamble on sports, you can gamble on esports, on video game items.
True.
With those items.
True.
Roblox,
True.
stocks, on meme stocks.
True.
Gamble on earning calls. Gamble on calls with earning calls.
Gambling is everywhere in today's society. It's probably one of the most readily available sins because you have to be 21 to get alcohol in America. You just lie about your age and start a Robinhood account whenever. Well, actually not Robinhood. One of these online gambling casinos, because they don't really require much information. Like they just need like a bank account, and they trust it that you're good for your age. All you need your mom's credit card too some of the times. Like it's crazy. All you need, the entry level is so low to basically now they can farm anybody from any age range.
Gamble on political events, world events. You can bet if Zelensky's going to wear a suit before July, if Jerome Powell's going to say inflation 50 or 60 times in September. Hey, you don't just have to
That is crazy.
Gamble on crypto coins, Trump coin, Dogecoin, Fartcoin. You can gamble on the champion of Fartcoin coin. Hey, you can gamble on
Champion
any
of
the post
Fartcoin and his NFTs.
On whether they will become popular.
You can gamble on whether or not your gamble's going to gamble.
That's your cup of tea. You can also just gamble directly within your banking app.
That's Yada! That's Yada! That's the one I was talking about!
On a game of roulette. Like a gentleman. And don't even get me started on the ads.
Real men go to the convenience store and use the slot machines there to get all their winnings. That's where real men gamble. Anyone gambling anyone else, they're fake gamble heads. You had XQC talking about donating $50,000 to animal shelter if he showed Hassan Piker's collar and it wasn't a shock collar. XQC didn't care about the 50 grand. XQC's a gambling degenerate. He just wanted to make a bet and he just wanted to win. He doesn't care about how much money it is. He'll bet it no matter what. And he's a peak gambler. He'll gamble on anything. Like that's the true gamble mentality. It's not about the money. It's about the act of winning. That's all that matters. Or the act of gambling per se. Because even if you lose, you still gamble again, right?
Turn on sports, esports, podcasts. Not even my favorite political show is safe.
Shout out to Prize Picks, the best app to fire on sports in the game.
You will be bombarded with gambling ads by every famous person you've ever heard of.
DraftKings.
Because these people make millions upon millions of dollars a day gambling on these websites. And they're paying celebrities to push it out to their retards because gambling always involves two individuals. Lucky retards and stupid retards. Those are the only two people that actually gamble. The lucky retards are the ones that win. The stupid retards are the ones that lose. There's a commonality between both is that they don't understand statistics and they'll never actually even remotely have a chance in hell of winning. You have a better chance on some of these bets of Jesus magically coming back and the earth rapturing than actually winning your bet. That's how crazy the odds are. Like, I'll be honest, like I said, I don't gamble, but every time the Powerball hits like $5 billion or $1 billion or some crazy number like that, I'll go buy a single ticket. I'm just like, you know what? Maybe I don't have to wake up and do something tomorrow. Maybe I can like quit my job and then go live in a yacht and then get robbed by some man because I advertised how rich I am now and now I'm getting a gun pointed to my head while I transfer all my crypto to them. Like, there's so little chance of you actually winning that there's no real point. But no one ever focuses on the fact that they could lose. They focus on the fact that they could win.
DraftKings.
Doesn't matter what the chance is.
DraftKings Sportsbook.
Uh-oh. How did we get here? And is it a good thing that we're turning every spare moment of our...
I'd probably say Trump being president has only expedited this exponentially, in fact. Because as soon as he took office, he had his whole Trump coin. And then he had Melania coin. And I was really expecting a Barron coin, but that one actually didn't come out. But yeah, right before he took office, he made a cryptocurrency and pumped it like crazy. And the funny part is, he didn't actually sell any of it. He made most of the money off the transaction fees, from what I remember. He was absolutely making bank, but just creating a coin and holding onto it and doing nothing with it. It was kind of crazy to see.
Our lives into a game of chance. I'm betting no.
Coffeezilla is really cool. I've yet to see a video from Coffeezilla where I just hate it. He's very good doing the investigative journalist PI skit. And he's always actually making content of stuff that I find interesting for the most part. Like,
there are three things
I'm not that tech savvy. I know enough to where I could get into my computer and fix shit, and I know enough about crypto to where I can trace Bitcoin wallets or wallet addresses. That's about it. I don't ever really dive further in. It's just because it doesn't interest me per se. I understand how to do it, and it'll take me 5 minutes to learn, but I'd rather use my 5 minutes playing RuneScape. I don't know if that's just my autism or what.
Responsible for gambling becoming more mainstream, but the first and biggest trend is simply the mainstream becoming more like gambling. See, Silicon Valley learned a decade ago that gambling mechanics are incredibly good for user retention, so they put
that's why they're in every video game now.
Put them everywhere. Let's say you're shopping online. Well, now you can spin a wheel to unlock prizes. Or if you're playing video
games. I always just assume those were fake. Like, there's no way you just log in and spin a wheel today and now you get an 80% discount. You were going to get an 80% discount no matter what because they want your money. They're just making you think you won, so now you got to use it. It's psychology. They're trying to use your brain against you.
Games. You can open the
Okay. Knife story. The very first box I opened in CSGO had an $80 knife in it. And I thought that was normal. I didn't know that. That knife nowadays, or at least before the market crash, was like $400, $500. I didn't know that wasn't normal. I was like 17 and I got a loot box that played CSGO for the first time. Bought a key after like begging my dad for $10 for a month. And I opened an $80 knife, sold it, then bought like, I think 5 more keys, opened all the boxes, got jack shit, and then never gambled again on CSGO. Like, that was probably the funniest story because I didn't know that was rare. I thought that was pretty common. And then I went to sell it. I was like, why is this worth $80, dude? It just said rare. I got it on the first try, so to me it's not rare. It's 1 in 1. It's 1 in 100 chance to win. Like,
box. Get some randomized.
my luck is I'm either the luckiest motherfucker or the unluckiest motherfucker. There's no real in between with me.
Items. You can even use those items as virtual currency in a casino. We've made a 3-part series about.
That's hilarious.
We don't have a problem with loot boxes for adults, but we've also put them in kids' video games.
This is true level of degeneracy. Leave the kids alone. Don't start frying these kids before they had a chance at life. They don't know. They don't know they're gambling.
Because gotta.
They don't have the brain power to comprehend it.
Largest game for minors.
They don't know what 5% chance means.
And they are stuffed with randomized loot boxes. But even if that's fine for you, what about the third-party websites which against TOS allow full gambling based on a kid's game? And yes, there are
that's probably Roblox
gambling on these apps.
Yeah, it's probably Roblox then.
I just won a bit of profit there. I had 200 Robux.
Yeah, this kid just said Roblox. That is hilarious. His mom's credit card is about to go negative, or it's about to hit its limit, and this kid's gonna get beat for it.
No, I had 200 Robux in profit and 100 Robux in profit, but I lost them. But I had 50 Robux.
I had $100 in profit and I lost it. Then you didn't have profit. This is poor child. Poor child.
I lost it, and I thought I got 50 Robux again. So on this, mine's on a Robux World. What I'm gonna do is buy 40 crates now. Not 40 crates, but like 44 crates. That looks good.
So he just uses Robux to buy a lottery system to get a hat?
Let's go.
And I guess if the hat's more valuable than how much he spent on the box, that's what he makes the money on.
Let's go. We're in profit.
So that hat's worth $50 reduce. He spent $44. That's $6 reduce profit.
Let's go.
It is absolutely
This
disgusting.
is wild.
Look, I spoke to an insider who worked on this website, Roblox Wild, before it got shut down. He shared data which claimed they made $5,000 a day, or roughly $2 million a year.
Kids with access to their parents' wallet. That's what this boils down to.
Thankfully, this website got shut down, but third-party gambling sites still
It's off Roblox. It'll be back in a week.
persist because copying casinos makes a ton of money. And that's why we've been putting it into everything, including our politics. Prediction markets are the answer to the question of what if we could YOLO on election results.
Bro, the dude that owned Polymarket right as the election was going out, I was actually streaming that night and watching the odds, and it shot up exponentially for Trump right toward the end, like after like 3 hours or so. Basically, he was guaranteeing, Polymarket was saying he's going to win because the gamblers are degenerate losers that always have insider information some way, some form, somehow. And what do you call it? I think the leader, the owner of Polymarket, got his house raided from the FBI from that too. Like, there was some crazy like police raid on him because they wanted to know how the hell he knew with such accuracy who was going to win in advance.
World events. The biggest websites are Polymarket and Callsheet, which have exploded in popularity during the
I only ever heard of Callsheet 2 days ago. I had no idea what that was.
American election cycle. But it isn't just major events that attract bettors. I was recently asked to investigate whether this was a suit that Zelensky was wearing.
What?
Why? Well, the prediction market had bet $200 million in betting volume on this bet. And some of them were really mad that they decided, no, this is not a suit, I guess. Whether you think it is or not, the volume of betting...
You could gamble on
And
anything.
the reason for that is because these companies are exploiting loopholes that allow betting even in states where normal gambling is illegal. Because these companies say they're not a casino, so they don't fall under the same rules, which is why instead of having to be 21, you can now gamble at 18 on prediction markets. And while there have been legal challenges to this, both of the major companies, Callsheet and Polymarket, have recently brought on the president's son as an advisor.
We had Joe Biden and Hunter Biden with the nepotism using his father's influence to work in Ukraine. Now we have Donald Trump and Donald Trump Jr. as a financial advisor to the gambling companies. Oh my God,
Making it
bro.
hard to see how they're gonna be meaningfully regulated. Meanwhile, all the major betting apps are busy launching their own prediction market copycats to get around the...
Well, yeah, because they realize it's working and these people aren't being sued and they're losing out on money by not joining in. Because people that gamble are stupid. So they're losing out on stupid people's money. And that's the easiest money to ever acquire.
Same weak rules that we still have regarding betting. And don't even get me started on the other loopholes that are out there. Have you ever heard of the TikTok of sports wagering?
This is Cheddar. We're building the TikTok of sports wagering.
You just slide up, drop $1,000 and keep going? Oh my God, that is crazy.
Legal in 20 more states than DraftKings. Accessible for 18 to 21-year-olds. Live in-game.
Oh man, this is the worst. This is the worst corpo future imaginable. Everyone's gonna be broke because everyone's gambling all the money that they'll ever have from the day they're born, and they're losing.
Pro betting. Swipe to predict every moment of every...
Will Willis make the tackle? Yes, no, while it's live? So one of my friends, we had a conversation about insider trading based on a Reddit post of a guy that was on a Boeing plane that had a malfunction of a door falling off right as they were about to take off. And the Reddit post was proposing if I were to immediately start shorting Boeing stock, because I know when this news breaks, it's going to cause the stock to go down, could I be investigated for insider trading? That was the question. Me and him were talking about it, and he's a very big rocket guy. And he likes Rocket Lab, a stock company that's not financial advice. I'm not telling you to invest in any way, shape, or form. But Rocket Lab was supposedly has a bunch of tests for some neutron rocket that was going to be going off near where he lived. And he was saying he was going to buy the stock and then watch the rocket with binoculars and have the sell button ready. And if it explodes, he was going to immediately sell. And he was wondering if that would count as insider trading. Right before the news can report it, right before it's live streamed with a 2-millisecond delay. If he's quick enough, he'd be able to be the first one to sell before it crashes. That was his game plan. And I was like, you crazy motherfucker, this might work.
Free play.
I'm going to stop you right there. If you missed it, Cheddar is a new startup trying to combine DraftKings, TikTok, and...
What's crazy is it's a crappy overlay on their ad, too, of the phones where it's clearly just a green screen and they're trying to overlay the video. And as the guy's shaking his hand, it's not following perfectly.
Tinder features into one app.
Yeah, that's actually crazy. Instead of swiping right on the 10 out of 10, you're swiping right on whether or not you'll make the money here.
They're allowing 18 to 21-year-olds as a competitive edge. Guys, can you believe
Your brain doesn't fully develop till you're 25, by the way. That's why Leonardo DiCaprio dumps every girl the day she turns 25.
the untapped market of teenagers for gambling? Now, to be fair, Cheddar has not launched yet, but this is obviously...
Like, I don't know. I always grew up extremely poor. Even when I went to college, I was still, like, pretty dirt poor. I was, like, working 24/7 to try to be able to afford rent and food and still to ask my parents for money and help. Like, I never had money to gamble. There was no way I would be like, yeah, my last $5, let's go put it on a gambling website and see if I get lucky. No! That $5, I could get 5 packs of ramen. Actually, it was, what was it? Oh, no. It was like 25 cents per pack of ramen. I could get 20 packs of ramen for that. Are you kidding me? That's meals for 5 days, basically. And you want to go gamble it? I do not, like, people in society, their mental functions are gravely diminished, and I honestly think it's the fluoride plus the Tylenol destroying people's brains before they had a chance to fully develop. And clearly me eating dirt as a kid was why I survived. The dirt managed to cancel out the fluoride and the Tylenol inside me to where now I'm the superhuman being that's immune from gambling.
Future we're heading towards.
Besides the betting on the election.
Addictive gambling product.
It's sports wagering with the pace of a slot machine.
Yeah. Isn't that the most dystopian thing you've ever heard? We're trying to turn sports betting into slot machines. I mean, the funny thing is this whole product is built around...
It's not a casino, guys, but they're just trying to follow the exact model a casino does.
Yet another loophole called a sweepstakes casino, and that's how they get around the...
That's what Mr. Beast does, right? Requires no entry to be able to participate, but if you buy, you can get more entries. That's what Mr. Beast was getting hit for like a few years ago. People were calling him out on he's doing illegal sweepstakes.
21-year-old age requirement. Here's how it basically works. Sweepstakes casinos claim that you don't actually need to purchase anything to play, so it's kind of not gambling. In fact, you can get free coins to access their games, but they also have...
Yeah, what was the big one? There's like a big online market, and they would give you a free online dollar a day that you could use to go gamble. I forget what it was called. Maybe it might be the one that's sponsored with Kick. I don't remember. It's just one of those. It's like the one XQC always uses. It's like a degenerate gambling market. I knew it was a thing, and I see people that stream gambling, and to me, it's just stupid. Because I know you're not going to win. I know the statistics. I have a degree in nuclear engineering. I've taken multiple level statistic courses in college. Higher level education in math has taught me that I'm better off putting a gun to my head and pulling the trigger to see if the bullet misfires than winning the jackpot. Like, that's the crazy level of statistics we're talking here.
A second currency which you can buy. Well, not buy. You get it for free when you buy the worthless coins. For example, their website says if you buy 100 cheddar coins, you get 5 bonus cheddar cash.
You get 5 extra cheddar.
And that's usually what you can gamble with.
I thought that's what they called the coins at Chuck E. Cheese, cheddar coins, no?
How Stake US works.
Stake, that's what it's called. They gave you like a free $1 a day. Yeah, that's what it was.
No, Stake International is one of the world's largest casinos, but they aren't allowed here in the United States. So they have an American arm, which is a sweepstakes casino, which has gold.
I thought you just used a VPN to bypass. I didn't actually know they made something specifically for the US to scam our laws because they're so easily abused.
Coins and stake cash. One Redditor explains how the loophole really works.
They only use gold coins because they need to say that you aren't gambling with real money to stay open. It literally takes one transaction to remove yourself out of the gambling category, apparently. That's how easily abused the laws are in America. There's so many loopholes to literally everything, and if you ain't cheating, you ain't winning.
Quote, one stake cash is 1 USD. They only use gold coins because they need to say that you aren't gambling with real money.
You're gambling with state cash, not real money. Yeah.
To stay open
That's
in the US.
crazy
Except,
stupid.
Of course, you are actually gambling with real money. They just have a virtual currency workaround, which basically everyone has figured out. Some casinos are just kind of more honest about it than others. Cheddar's basically saying the quiet part out loud. They're going after 18 to 21-year-olds with TikTok, Tinder, sports betting at the pace of slots. And by the way, people are betting on their success. They're actually in a cohort of startups invested in by a Silicon Valley investment firm called A1.
A16Z, I need to figure out how to get into this. These people are genius. This is genius level IQ here. They're farming the retards of all their money.
6Z. But if you think that's a bad idea, now let's talk about banks and gambling. I recently made a video on Yada, which was a fintech, which is a complicated story. We've done a ton of work on here and here, but basically...
Yeah, they won't let you withdraw. I remember that. I don't know if I actually made it. I don't think I made a video on it, but I remember watching it off Coffeezilla. I had Yada back in the day, dude. I think I had it 2018. I want to say I got it 2018, 2019.
The original pitch was a no-lose lottery, which gamified savings. Lots of YouTubers work with this.
Yes, Markiplier. Yeah, Markiplier talked about it. I remember that.
And they acted like a bank, at least at first.
I think that's where I heard it from, actually, was Markiplier. I used to watch his videos back in the day.
Until they switched their new business model to be about allowing you to gamble inside the app and lose money, simply becoming a casino within what is essentially a bank account.
That's it. You don't even got to go do a transaction or nothing. You've already deposited your money to the bank, and the bank is the casino. That's genius. You don't got to withdraw it. You don't got to do transfer fees. You don't got to spend time reloading your cash when you're out. It's boom, direct deposit your paycheck right into the gambling casino. That's beautiful. Genius.
I should actually note that Yada recently shut down the banking side and have fully focused on the sweepstakes casino part.
Oh yeah, I wonder why.
Profitable business, but it's a sign of the times that everyone is moving their app more towards gambling, and finance is going.
Let's go gambling.
On August 19, 2025, the investing app Robinhood announced they are bringing sports betting prediction markets to their app.
I remember that. And I was just like, what is this crap? Because, like, this is just gambling. I didn't understand how you could do it, but I guess it's because it's a future market. I think Robinhood specifically labels it future market. I think that's the words they use, the magic words, to get the IRS not to bend you over backwards and give you a colonoscopy. That's my best guess.
In the announcement, the vice president of
futures and international. Yeah.
Robinhood claimed sports betting was a, quote, no-brainer.
Well, it's a no-brainer because everyone that's a sport bettor, everyone that bets on sports has an IQ of around 60, so you're getting their money for free. Why would you not farm the dumbest people in society for money? That's what this boils down to.
As we aim to make Robinhood a one-stop shop for all your investing and trading needs, aka we noticed people were leaving to other apps.
That is exactly why all these celebrities had their own scam cryptocurrency, because they were farming their stupid constituents, their stupid followers. They knew they were a cult of personality and they could scam these people out of all their money. Jake Paul, Ice Poseidon. There's so many of these different micro celebrities, or at least decent online YouTube celebrities, promoted these scams because they didn't care. They don't care. They just want money. That's their whole point in life, is to make as much money as humanly possible to do whatever they want. That's it.
apps. We don't like that. We'd like you to never leave our app. And ironically, the very next day, FanDuel, a sports betting app, announced they were bringing stock market betting to their customers.
Well, that's just the stock market. That's just, yeah.
But I will ask you about what some call the gamification of markets. Why this move? Why FanDuel? Why now?
For us to have a partner like FanDuel and be able to have 14 million accounts on day one.
That's all. 14 million accounts on day one? Oh my God, we are screwed. What percent of the... What is that? 5% of the population signed up on it on day one? Dude!
Becoming a casino, contrary
2.5,
to
3.
opinion,
Someone do the math for me in the chat, in the comment section.
that will be offered to the general public, and we think is massively exciting of what it could do.
And you couldn't have a more perfect image of how finance is embracing the casinos and vice versa. Actually, correction, you can have a more perfect image because after I wrote this, the New York Stock Exchange's owner invested $2 billion into Polymarket.
The rich always stay rich. They always win. Winners always win. They know where the money's at, and they know the money here is going to be growing.
So actually, this is the perfect image of where we are. And a result is a lot of...
Late stage capitalism. We no longer care about the stock market, which is arbitrary to gambling. We just now have gambling installed in everyone's phones and everyone's devices and everyone's brains. You're going to have to gamble whether or not you wake up on time for work in the future. Like, this is...
Young people now see the stock market as kind of more like a betting market.
Yep.
The most popular group on Reddit is personal finance with about 21 million followers. In second place, Wall Street Bets.
Yeah! I love Wall Street Bets. It is like one of the two subreddits I use because it is hilarious. I don't take financial advice from them ever. If you do, you're willing to lose because rarely does it actually pay off. They recently had BYND, not financial advice yet again, but they had BYND and they caught it as a short squeeze like they did GME. And there was a bunch of people that actually made millions off of it. And then there was one guy who gloated about buying it $7 a share. And he put $100,000 in. And it like an hour later, it was down to like $2 a share. He lost everything immediately. It's like he had 25% of his original investment left. It's degenerate gamblers talking about them winning and losing. And more than likely, they're all losing.
Where gambling on the stock market is embraced and celebrated. It grew the most during the meme stock craze of 2020, which shifted how some people thought about investing. Instead of being driven by earnings, prices, or fundamentals, people gambled on memes, attention, and vibes.
Yeah, it's like everyone that invests in Tesla, they're just gambling. Like, everyone invests in Tesla because they're investing in Elon Musk. They're not really investing in Tesla. That's why their stock is so crazy high. Look at the PE ratio. It's like... Let's look. Yeah, the price per earnings ratio is 305. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy.
People are chasing bigger returns and taking on bigger risks to do so. One measure of this is the amount of debt people are taking out to invest. Margin debt is at an all-time high of $1 trillion, which even on an inflation-adjusted basis is near all-time highs and up 5x over the last few decades.
That's smart, honestly. Go to the bank, get all the money you can, and immediately go put it in the stock market.
Not only that,
Trump is a wild card president.
the rapid growth of zero-day options by retail traders is also a telltale sign. It's grown 5x in volume over 5 years, showing that people are trying to gamble more. Zero-day options are the stock trader equivalent of red or black at the casino. Fast.
Yeah, zero-day options. I want to say when at my job, one of my first jobs, there was a lady there who tried to trade options and she lost and they closed her account down. She owed him like $20,000. It was something crazy like that. I was just like, what? I didn't understand it. I don't mess with options. I don't mess with puts. I don't mess with shorts. Me shorting a company is me buying it and knowing that it's going to, or me shorting a company is me buying it and selling it once in my 5% profit margin. That's it. That's what I do. Like, you have your own method, do your own thing, or don't at all and keep your money in a bank and hopefully it goes up eventually and offsets inflation. That's all you really need to ever worry about. Otherwise, you're constantly losing money.
Action, massive wins or losses on a single day. But if the stock market is America's casino, then meme coins are basically the back alley bookie who will break your legs. Bigger.
Meme coins are the drug dealer who's giving you a little bit of a high for free to get you hooked on the goods.
Price swings, faster action. Meme coins are even more degenerate than meme stocks and pump and dump usually within a single day. Among the
meme coins go from $1,000 to zero in a second.
Destination as the one-click launch pad. Anyone can make a meme coin in seconds, and there is no value in it other than the expectation that someone might be more foolish than you and buy at a higher price than you did. And of course, Pump.Fun is happy to take a cut and make most of the money. Most
on transactions.
will lose, but now you can also get a cut if you're a content creator who pushes one of these coins. We've seen the same thing from launchpads like Meteora. They allow creators to have a split of some of the trading fees, and it kind of democratizes the grift. Now, anyone can farm their followers and fans for money. You don't have to be particularly sophisticated, and that's actually how Trump made millions of dollars in fees with Trump meme coin without ever selling.
He literally didn't do anything, and he farmed the money. He said, I'm creating an arbitrary coin, and he didn't sell any of it and still got a filthy amount of money off of it from the trading fees alone. He sunk a bunch of the other crypto markets because they were being used for the trading fees, and it was all going into his crypto wallet. Like, craziest president we've ever had. Day before the inauguration, announcing Trump coin and then announcing Melania coin right after. Wild.
Just farm the fees. And to be clear, this money doesn't magically appear. It's being siphoned away from regular people who mostly lose. It creates a sad ecosystem where most creators are racing to the bottom for attention to get their audiences to pump their worthless coins, leading to a predictable spiral where most are scamming, rage baiting, or otherwise trying to shock each other into becoming the biggest grift of the day.
Cups got drained.
Thanks for the 20 band.
Oh, I remember this kid, but that was scamming your coin as a Nazi? What? This kid made like $20,000 and then like made like 4 other cryptocurrencies immediately after with the rest of his family members to try to scam everyone to try to repeatedly scam people again. It was hilarious. Kid's a winner.
It's ripping.
What?
It's ripping. Bonk. Jesus Christ!
If you've ever heard of a zero...
All you gotta do nowadays is be the most anti-Semitic person on the internet, and no one will be able to tell if you're a right-winger or left-winger because it's a horseshoe theory of politics. They overlap pretty well. But what I'm saying is you could use that to stream and make money from both the right-wingers and the left-wingers.
Sum game where someone has to win for the other one to lose. Meme coins are negative sum because of all the trading fees. Most people, by definition,
you will lose.
The real winner, of course.
There was a crazy statistic. One of the ones that was ape.fun is the one that Trump coin you could buy it on. I forget what website it actually was, but it had a leaderboards of who was actually winning. And if you had like a $5 profit, you're in the top like 0.01% of winners on the website. It was crazy because they just made it public too. You could see who was investing and who was winning with their investments.
Is Pump.Fun and people pushing it. According to one analysis, they've generated revenues of over $800 million for themselves, while almost none of the traders have made significant profits. According to one analysis, 0.4% of all traders will ever make over...
That is crazy. That is absolutely crazy.
$10,000. So almost no one. And look, the reason we're going through all of...
Except you, chat. Except you. No, I'm kidding. Don't gamble. Don't gamble.
The many ways that gambling,
unless you're rich,
is no longer just about slots, cards, brick and mortar casinos. We've injected it into every conceivable aspect of our lives, and that
because it's money. It's easy money.
One, it's inescapable. You cannot.
It's because our society doesn't truly value education in a way that matters. You have a bunch of people with a bunch of useless degrees in basket weaving that can only ever amount to a Starbucks manager. Those people aren't better off for that. They've in fact ruined their life incredibly because they have a significant amount of debt and they can't get a job even remotely close to pay that debt off. So they're crippling debt, crippling anxiety. Now they're on drugs for their anxiety. Now they're crippling debt for the rest of their life, trying to vote someone into office that's going to get rid of all of their debt. You have people that are more educated now than ever, but they're also dumber than they've ever been. You need to eliminate a lot of college degrees that aren't STEM specific, and that would probably fix a lot of what's wrong in American society, for at least for the moment.
Avoid gambling by avoiding Vegas anymore. It's literally everywhere.
Yeah, Vegas is dying.
It's also
they're dying
hard
quick.
To understand and study because most researchers are studying like casinos, sports betting, but so much of gambling is not that anymore. So as we get to the numbers of this stuff, remember everything's going to be an.
You used to have to go to Vegas to be able to gamble. Now you can just open your phone after you woke up or while you're hammered at the bar, and you can immediately just start gambling.
Undercount, but it is still important to talk about those casinos, and that's where we're going to shift now. Starting with the biggest trend that has happened for these casinos, and number 2 on our reason, which is sports gambling becoming legalized. Rewind the clocks for a second back to 2018 when the Supreme Court overturned a federal ban. At at the time,
Ooh, that was under Trump too. Yikes. Yikes.
basically you could only sports bet in Nevada. But after this, you can see.
Oh yeah, I knew that you could sports bet in a bunch of states, but all you had to do was like use a VPN to say you were in that state in order to get around the restricted IP. You can't do this because it's not legal, but it's one of those, unless you go to the police and say, look, I'm sports betting, they're not going to know.
A few years, we've completely flipped on the issue. Most states now allow sports betting, and along with that,
Texas, can't bet there. You're lucky you can drink liquor in Texas.
the advertising budgets for these companies is absolutely enormous. DraftKings, FanDuel, Underdog, Prize Picks, they've spent hundreds of millions of dollars getting celebrities and influencers to push their product every year, and man, has it worked. As I'm writing this, the #1 sports app on the App Store is not sports, it's not ESPN.
It's gambling. Maybe Cheddar, one of the gambling apps he listed earlier. DraftKings, gotta be one of those.
And the NFL are second and third. The #1 sports app is actually DraftKings.
DraftKings. They have commercials for this everywhere. I think they're involved in a lawsuit now with XQC as well. Same with Drake. Kind of funny.
And in the top 10, half of those apps
Sports betting, Prize Picks. Cheddar's not in the top 10. Yikes. Yikes.
are sports betting, which is insane.
Hard Rock Bet.
Two reasons for this. Obviously, one, hundreds of millions in advertising, but the second is what are called inducements, which is when these apps will incentivize
Boosted odds, free bets, and money back offers. Oh yeah, bet $5 to get $5 free and you can win $100,000, guys. Look, you get $5 free and you won $150 off of it. Mom, get your checkbook. We're gonna start writing. Yeah, I've seen the ads. I've seen the ads on TV and they're hilarious because I think you have to be a retard to fall for that. And clearly, the fact that that's the #1 sports app on the website or on the market or on the Google Play Store, yeah, that makes complete sense.
players to download them and place a bet, sometimes literally offering what seems like free money.
If you want free money, the only real scam you could do is open up new bank accounts at different banks that offer you like $500 for depositing $1,000. That's the only true free money you can get. You can take the money, then close the account out. I suggest you do a little bit more research into it because there's normally time periodicities and you have to have it open for a certain amount or you have to spend a certain amount, but more than likely it's deposit a certain amount of money. That's like the only real free money I've ever been able to find.
It's got an NFL offer.
Don't play with me.
Bet $5, you get $200 instantly. Dude, $5 for $200? I'll do it. I'll win. This is free money.
Turn $5 into $150 in
That's crazy. I get $150 for $5. I'm rich.
bonus bets.
New customers bet
If they're offering it to you, it's a scam. That's how this works.
$5. Get $300 in bonus bets if you win.
New customers get risk-free bets up to $2,000.
Now look, the reason casinos do this is kind of obvious. If they can make you place one bet, they're more likely to place the second, third, and 100th. But even setting...
You already have the app installed. You already had to hook up your bank account, your social security number. Why not just keep playing, man? It's that easy. Come on, dude. You've already got it in. What are you doing? You just bet some more money. Let's see. Maybe you get lucky again. Oh, no. You know what? Well, why don't you try again? Let's do it again. Oh, you haven't played in 3 days? Here, we'll send you a notification. $5 free. Come on, welcome back. Good to see you, buddy.
Aside the fine print of these weird offers, does it not strike anyone else as weird that we're allowing gambling companies to give away free stuff? Imagine the cigarette industry told you, buy your first pack, get 50 free packs free.
Dude, that would have worked. That was genius. They were not ahead of their time with cigarettes. They messed up large.
To get you started. Imagine Budweiser.
That would have worked.
Shotgun one, they'll send you a case for fun. It's insane. And yet, that's exactly what these sports betting apps are doing. It's the lifeblood of how they get new players. And once you're in, these apps will also cater to their biggest players, biggest losers, called VIPs. They will send them gifts as they spend their life savings. And there have been multiple lawsuits actually about this.
Ex-Jaguars employee admits Patel sues FanDuel for $250. Ex-Jaguars employee Amit Patel sues FanDuel for $250 million.
And to make it worse, if you do the opposite and you actually win too much on these apps, they will try to limit your betting, as one investigation found. If
you start winning and they kick you out and you don't even know it, that is hilarious. If you actually are a sports head and you know the best odds, that's not what they want. They want the retards that are just like, Dallas Cowboys gonna win the Super Bowl every year, boys. We're gonna win the Super Bowl. Come on, Cowboys. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put $1,000 in. We haven't even played the first game yet. They're gonna win the Super Bowl. I already know it's gonna be $10 million. Come on, Cowboys.
If you show any real ability to effectively handicap a game,
if you can make statistical analysis of all the players and figure out the team that has the best running average, then more than likely they're statistically the one that should win. If you do that, you'll probably get kicked out.
And beat the sportsbook, they will limit your bets.
The max stake for the bet is $30.77. You've reached the maximum win limit? Oh my god, even smart people can't even scam the system with the free money. They've made sure of that. Oh man, this was made by smart people for stupid people only.
And essentially kick you out of the sportsbook.
Genius.
They will not let you win.
Can you talk to me a little bit about how sportsbooks treat you once you start winning?
They don't want to accept your bets.
Yeah, it turns out the casinos actually hate the exact player that's featured in all of their advertisements.
Yeah.
The guy who actually wins too much money, which is actually so crooked when you think about it.
It's like XQC. He showed his like win to loss, and the dude gambled like $3 billion or some crazy amount like that. And he had lost basically all of it. And he actually leaked it one time, and it was hilarious to see. You don't win. Statistically, you don't win. The only reason celebrities and all these influencers do it is because they're getting paid to advertise it, so they're technically winning. They get a fee every time that you sign up using their code, and they get money for it as well. Like they're winning by making you lose. It's a pyramid scheme.
That if you're one of the few people who achieves what they're promoting, they actually don't want you. Now, as I was writing this story, another massive scandal actually broke in the sports betting world, which is even more corrupt than not allowing winners.
But as you now know,
Cash Patel. Yeah, I saw this and I was really confused. I was like, why is Cash working on this? We got some domestic terrorism that's need removing.
Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier were taken into custody.
Apparently, there's video footage of the incidents, and it's pretty egregious, like them bringing it in their favor.
Today, former, current NBA players and coaches. What you don't know is that this is an illegal gambling operation and sports rigging operation that spanned the course of years.
That's right. The FBI just exposed a massive sports rigging scheme that was using these apps to win money on rigged basketball games. One example of this was March 23rd, 2023, when an NBA player, Terry Rozier, told a friend ahead of time that he was going to go out early on a foot injury. And so that night, $200,000 in bets were placed on his underperformance because no one else knew that he was injured. And
he told people he's going to fake an injury beforehand and place bets on it, so when he underperforms because he's out on an injury, people win. That's genius. That's how you get your friends rich, and that's how you end up in prison for life.
A few minutes after Terry kind of limping around, he left the game and the bets paid off. A few days later, Terry Rozier and his friend allegedly counted the money at his house from the fraudulent wagering scheme. And this was one of several rigged games the FBI alleged.
Genius. I would do this too, and I'd be in jail the rest of my life. Oh my god.
But the media was quick to point out this isn't even the first time someone was caught doing something like this.
Jonte Porter, who played for the Toronto Raptors, has already pled guilty.
I can't be surprised that these are degenerate losers who are gambling because it's so heavy in their sport nowadays. It's so integral to the sport that I'm not really surprised the players are addicted as well. They're getting paid buckets and they want to win even more buckets. Not surprised. They know that they can influence a game by being terrible players. Not surprised.
He pled guilty. He's awaiting sentencing for doing just what...
Oh, he pled guilty? Total stupidity? So damn right.
Train has already left the station, Laura. And I have to tell you, when Jeff Teague, an NBA player, says, oh, there's betting everywhere, it is everywhere. I've done ads for DraftKings. LeBron James has done ads for DraftKings.
That is one thing I've told myself if I ever get some sort of popularity. I won't ever do gambling. I won't. Sorry. I have morals. I think gambling is probably one of the worst things about our society because people are stupid, and I don't think that they should lose their money just because they're stupid. I know I make fun of people losing their money because they're stupid, but at the same time, I feel directly responsible if someone's going to lose their money because I told them to invest in something and it didn't work. And that makes me feel bad. And because of that, I would never do gambling and I would never promote gambling.
DraftKings. In fact, ESPN, when they were reporting this story this morning, they're having programming, people talking just like you and me, talking about this scandal on the press conference the FBI was giving, and underneath them on the ticker was an ad for ESPN.
That they're making fun of sports betting while advertising sports betting? Oh, they messed up.
Bet, which is ESPN's own sports book.
Yeah, the irony of all of this is that the same people who could...
They goofed. That's a rookie move.
...dim illegal betting going on are simultaneously pushing the sports books, which create the opportunity.
Well, why would they not take free money? Are you stupid, Coffeezilla? It's free money.
And at some point, the producers on ESPN actually noticed it, and see if you can spot the moment they try to fix the sportsbook ad in the corner.
You hear a lot about legal sports gambling on this show. The Bussin' Boys, obviously sports gambling is a huge part of what you do, so we put those all out there as a preamble because it might be in the back of people's minds, and we acknowledge that this is a different time and place.
Bing, bing.
However, there is a fine line, not so fine, there is a bold line that obviously has to be drawn.
Well, that's a little awkward. You're actually supposed to remove the ad for sports betting before talking about sports rigging. And honestly, we've only hit the tip of the iceberg here. Because
That's only if you don't want to make more money. You could do it up to the last second and then maybe a little bit into it before people catch on. You know, oopsie whoopsies. Got to maximize your profit.
Because we've since learned these professional leagues are useless at catching this stuff. Turns out the NBA already investigated Terry Rozier before the FBI indictment for that exact game, and they cleared him because the NBA commissioner said there was insufficient...
We investigated ourselves and we found ourselves not to be in trouble or have committed any laws or violated any laws or done any crimes, guys. Trust us. We investigated ourselves and we're all clear.
Evidence.
Ultimately concluded that there was insufficient evidence despite that aberrational behavior to move forward.
Right. So even with aberrational activity,
we see he's making some weird plays and he's making money off it, but guys, clearly he's just lucky.
Had the right game, the right guy, and the NBA couldn't find enough evidence. I mean, the more money that goes into sports betting, the more this will be a problem. And the league...
True. It's going to get real egregious too. Maybe not now that Cash Patel's bringing down the FBI's hammer on people, but I wouldn't be surprised if you have some Super Bowl rigging coming up in these near futures.
Leagues are clearly not equipped to handle it, but people just look the other way because the money's too good. And I want to now address the size of these betting markets because they're absolutely enormous in ways most people don't understand. And to get our heads around it, we're going to look at some survey numbers. One study estimates that 22% of all Americans and almost half of men my age have an online sports betting account.
Half the men in America? Half the men his age. That is still crazy. That's still crazy. The casino's in their pocket.
Count. Another estimates that 1 in 4 people have placed a bet on sports and 1 in 5 have placed...
I've never placed a sports bet. I never have. Even on Robinhood, nope.
A bet in the last year. Like with all surveys...
Bet in the last year. I bet on the election. I will consider that gambling. I bet on the election.
There's margins of error.
I put $100 on Trump. Something like that. I don't even remember. But that was it.
Here, but the data mostly agrees. Sports betting is very widespread and extremely popular among young men. And for the ones who get addicted, it's financially devastating. One study looked at America.
Yeah, addiction to anything will ruin a person. Everything in moderation is key. The issue is you fry your brain of dopamine, and it requires more of a crazy bet in order to get the same hit that you're used to. Addictions ruin everyone. That's why you should do everything in your power to make sure you're doing anything in moderation. Food, drinking, partying, gambling, whatever you do, if you're not doing it in moderation, you are ruining yourself, and it will be too late by the time you realize it.
Finances before and after sports betting was legalized by their state.
So I got lucky. I had family members early on when I was young that I realized were degenerate gamblers and were absolutely ruining their life. And I could see it at a young age. So I understood that gambling's probably extremely bad because these people are losing everything because they can't quit gambling. They'd get paid. They'd immediately go gamble, lose it all, and then beg my dad to help pay their rent that month or buy them food and groceries. And my dad would say yes because he was a kind person. I'm not saying what he did was wrong, but he was enabling these people and their degenerate addiction the entire time, and they never fixed it as far as I know.
Found that bankruptcy rates rise approximately 10% after legalization. Another paper looked at financial stability.
Oh, that's interesting. Comparing the overall market and the average investor's money to before the gambling's been mainstream to now after, how many more people have filed for bankruptcies to try to see what that is. That's interesting. That is a good study.
For households that do bet, they spend on average about $720 a year sports betting. And the study found that for every dollar someone deposits for betting, there's a reduction in net investments of just under $1.
Yeah, because you lose.
As people gamble more, they invest less, which means their financial future is worse. Makes sense.
They're losing their money. They're literally lighting it on fire and it's going away. And now they're having trouble making car payments, paying for rent, paying for food. Yeah, this makes sense.
But this is especially true of problem gamblers or gambling addicts. To be clear, this
Degenerates.
is not something that affects all gamblers. Roughly 1% of the world population suffers from this. It's more common among people who bet regularly and bet online. Two of the...
Well, yeah, 1% of the world's population, I guess, is just degenerate gamblers by birth, and now they've made it so easily available you can test to see if you're one of them. That's...
things that sports gambling encourages. Problem gambling completely obliterates people's finances and affects more than just the gambler, because as they beg, borrow, or steal to continue their addiction, they affect everyone around them. And I steal.
Yeah, this is exactly what my family, we had family members that suffered from this. I had family members that suffered from this.
Roughly half of gambling addicts will commit a crime, and
yeah, they'll steal to get their high. Not surprised.
Most of those crimes are to continue gambling, often leading to a spiral where the addict doesn't see a way out, which is why problem...
In samples of pathological gamblers seeking behavioral treatment, 59% admitted to a gambling-related offense. 60% of gamblers have admitted to stealing to be able to fund their gambling addiction. I mean, that's like crackheads doing anything they can to get crack, stealing copper wire out of live poles, out of live boxes. Like, this is... The memes of drug addicts is because they have a crippling addiction and they will do anything to fulfill that addiction. This isn't like a meme. This is real life.
Gambling has one of the highest suicide rates of any substance addictions. Full stop.
Yeah, because they will lose it all, realize they have no way to make it back, and they financially ruin their life. And now that the dopamine's gone, they're left with nothing, and they think the only option is to end it. This is true. I can see this being accurate. It's sad, though.
I don't get it. You know none of this matters, right?
Yeah.
You've tried this before with Roulette, CS2, and it did nothing.
Yep.
No, literally, I mean nothing. Absolute silence.
That's not true. It's made him a lot of more popular videos with a lot of likes and subscribers. It's made him more money. I'm not throwing shade at Coffeezilla here. He's trying to bring awareness to this, and I do think it's something worth bringing awareness to. The normalization of gambling is going to hurt people before they realize it, because people are stupid. That's what this boils down to. People are stupid, and they don't know what they're doing till it's too late. That's why we have laws that are passed to stop things before they get worse. The fact that we've lessened restrictions on this, absolute fumble. But politicians are only always ever doing what's in their best interest to make more money, and they're probably getting paid from some of these sports betting places. They're getting donations to their campaign. So it makes sense on why they did this.
All the moralizing, the anti-gambling.
It says bitches brew.
Wasting your time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but I'm making money. It's got another 14 minutes, Coffee. Where's the comeback?
Let me tell you a story. A year ago, I was offered $20,000 to do a video by casino. Now, I said no and made
a casino offering $20,000 to dig up dirt on another casino. Genius.
Whole series about it, but what I didn't tell you is that later I was offered $1 million to cover my legal fees in an ongoing case. Now, this was offered by a person who said
that is crazy. He was offered $1 million.
They wanted to remain anonymous, no strings attached.
So there was an interesting, I'll tell you something interesting that happened in one of my, not poli-sci, one of my ethics courses I had to take as an engineer that require ethics. We had a class where a teacher's like, would you quit your job for $1 million? It was like the trolley problem, basically, but he was trying to expand it further. He's like, would you quit your job for $1 million? People put their hands up. It's like, would you quit your job for $10 million? People put their hands up. Would you quit your job for $100 million? I was the only one that hadn't had my hand up yet. And the teacher's like, what? And I was like, I'm not money motivated. If I have a job, it means I like it. And that's what I was trying to explain. It's like, he's like, so for $100 million, what about $1 billion? I was like, at that point, I just put my hand up because I don't think that he understood that I don't care about money per se. Whatever I do, I know is going to make money because I'm not a retard. That's what I've always thought about when it comes to money in life. As long as I'm not a retard, I'll be fine. Gambling, retard move. Doing drugs, retard move. Crippling addictions, retard move. I'm not worried about my finances ever. And I don't ever have to be because I live within my means. I'm not a degenerate consumer. Capitalism, consumer culture never hooked on to me. I think it's stupid. Most points of capitalism, I like that anyone can pick themselves up by the bootstraps, but I don't like how an iPhone costs an extra $1,000 because it's got the Apple brand attached to it. I use my brain. I can't be bought. That's, at least, I haven't had a good enough offer yet.
Very nice person. They said they wanted to just help out. Sounds great. But then I found out the money was coming from a sports betting company. They were one of the top people, and that's obviously a dilemma for me. I am publicly against gambling, and here this person kind of privately.
I'm against gambling, but they're paying me.
Gambling can pretty much solve all my problems.
On the back end.
Legal fees, you know, they're telling me, oh, their company's regulated, it's fine, it's above board. Ultimately, I had to say no. Thank you for the offer.
Damn. Kudos to coffee.
But, you know, in my head, there's no such thing as $1 million, no strings attached.
True.
And, you know, obviously, I also can't take $1 million from a sports betting and then go make a video criticizing sports betting. But it gave me pause and kind of gave me an aha moment that I was missing before, where I started to understand exactly how screwed we are. And this goes into our third reason gambling is winning. The casual way these casinos can throw around life-changing money for any normal person is why the data will never fix this.
$100 million is crazy. You've set yourself up for the rest of your life and probably 2 generations worth of your family, as long as they're not stupid, degenerate addicts. It's crazy life-changing money.
It's why having enough sad facts about addicts or interviewing people whose lives were ruined will not change things. Believe me, I've done it, and it's never moved the needle. To be honest, it's not even debatable.
Because people that are degenerate gamblers always think this isn't going to hurt me. I'm better, I'm luckier, I'm smarter. You can't convince the narcissists that they're narcissists. They just think they're better than everyone because of some arbitrary fact. Yeah, this isn't going to change much, yes.
The gambling is kind of bad for most people and life-destroying for a few. Even the industry kind of admits that. But the reason gambling is everywhere in spite of that is there is too much money in the game benefiting the people that make the final decision.
Yeah, you'd be dumb. This is free money.
Right? Think about the states with tax revenue.
An estimated $11.5 billion, $71 billion.
Casino profits, the influencer payouts. There's
$100 million to XQC. Yeah.
Small group that gambling is incredible.
XQC's filthy rich and he's still streaming. He does it for the love of the game. That's the important factor there. That's what separates him from other people taking payouts because they need the money. He does it because he was going to gamble anyways.
So incredible, it basically defies logic. I'm talking billions of dollars in profits. And if you want to understand why gambling is everywhere, you can't just look at the statistics. You have to look at the money. And I want to show you exactly how
about the money.
This is Matthew. He's better known online as Nade Shot.
I'll say Nade Shot.
A gambling deal with an
signs a sponsorship. Is this the one where he tells people don't gamble, but I just signed a sponsoring ship with gambling?
Crypto casino.
I saw this video on Twitter.
The deal. I want you to notice it's a little strange. He almost seems hesitant.
Boys, we just partnered with Rootbet, and before I say anything, don't gamble, okay?
Because he knows he's selling out, and he's upset at himself, but the money was too good.
You will lose. I promise you, you're gonna lose. But that's why I partnered with Rootbet, so they can pay me to gamble.
So they can pay me when you lose money.
So, even when I lose...
Yeah, when I lose, I'm still winning. When you lose, you're just fucking losing.
I'm still gonna lose.
Yeah, it's pretty weird to hear someone say, don't gamble, guys, while announcing...
He totally framed that to make it look like he's the good person here and this is going to benefit him, and he's not wrong. It will benefit him, but it'll ruin it'll find the 2% of his fans that are completely degenerate gambling addicts and take them for all their money's worth.
A partnership with a gambling company. Nade Shot implies that he may lose money, but in fact, he later admits that it's the most money he's ever been paid.
This is the biggest partnership that I've had in my entire career.
No, instead, I think the hesitancy, the weirdness of this video is because Nade Shot knows pushing gambling is kind of bad for people. He said so in a podcast a couple years ago.
I definitely think...
Well, it was bad because he wasn't being paid. Now that he's being paid, it's okay. It's everywhere, guys. I'm just losing money if I don't take it. I'm losing.
Streaming on Twitch.
And I can't lose.
All the crypto betting certainly incentivizes younger kids to be more interested in crypto gambling. Like, I know personally people that should not have been gambling online, but because it's so easy to gamble with crypto, they did it when they could not afford to do it, and it has not worked out well for
them. Boss Man Jack, one of my favorite lolcows, degenerate gambler.
For them.
Right. Nade Shot knows personally it's bad. But for the reason why he's doing it anyways, just fast forward 2 minutes in the podcast and we find out because the host asks, a hypothetical. What if someone offered Nadeshot $100 million to promote gambling? And well, let's just say his tone changed.
I ain't turning down $100 million, bro. You got me.
The fault in our stars. Money makes the world go around.
Brother, I'll go on there and I will crypto gamble 24/7, dude. At that point, man, it's the parents' fault. Hey, I'm just working over here. You're gonna pay me more than LeBron? Brother, I would be lighting up, cash on fire, gambling crypto. I would sell my soul for 100 M's. Are you fucking kidding me, dude?
Yeah.
Clip this. We should send this over. Okay.
Clipped it and unfortunately bites him in the ass.
Be your workhorse. You want me to pump blue chews and crypto gambling? I will do it all. You got me fucked up. Them kids, dude. Fuck them kids.
Look, I'm just going to say, you can say he's wrong for saying that. He's a bad person for saying that. But the reality is, this is why gambling is winning.
Because the people that are current celebrities want money. That's the most likely reason why they started streaming. You have very few people that are streaming for the love of streaming. They're streaming because they want money. Specific examples, I'd say, are all of the LA celebrity streamers that are currently at a bunch of different debacles of them saying stupid crap because they've been jumping from one content masterpiece to they've been jumping from one grift to another grift, doing everything they can to convince their audience that they're the best people humanly possible. So now that they're actually involved in content with Hassan shocking his dog, people are kind of like, what's going on? You've been very moral high ground about everything, but now you're not talking about this. It's pretty bad. Oh, you're on women. You're an advocate for women always being right. Trust all women. But here's a woman doing this, and you're not coming out to condone it. What's going on? Because the truth is, they just want money. They've seen that if they say the right thing or wait till the consensus is out and they go for the vast majority, they'll win. They don't care. They're streaming for money.
Casinos have so much money. They are buying people's souls. Even people who kind of admit gambling's kind of bad.
Kind of bad.
Money on the table. And Nadeshot says, hey, fuck them kids. And by the way, speaking of fucking them kids, let's talk about Drake.
Let's not say that in a sentence. Wait, that's... Oh, that's a banger from Coffee. There's some drama around Drake and minors. You want to look it up on your spare time? Look it up. That was a banger.
It isn't just streamers or influencers taking deals. It's the biggest rapper on the planet. He signed a reported $100 million deal.
And they're now in a lawsuit too.
The crypto casino, which is wild. There's really no endorsement deals like that anywhere else that hit those kind of...
The only reason they're paying $100 million is because they think they'll make $1 billion off your audience. That's the situation. That's the reality of the situation, boys.
Of numbers. And just like Nadeshot, Drake wants you to know that, even though he's taking the money, gambling isn't for everyone. Recently,
it's not for everyone. Here's him literally doing anything and he's gambling while doing it.
Posted an $8 million loss, saying, gotta share the other side of gambling. Now, maybe...
Only $8 million? 8% of the $100 million contract you took? Buddy, there's 92% left. Get back in there. Keep losing. Keep going. You've got more money to lose, brother.
Some of you think that's brave, but to me, I see that and go, Drake, that is the only side of gambling for most people. If any normal...
That is the only side of gambling for everyone on a long enough period of time. You will eventually lose it all because the odds are not in your favor. Ever. It's like 51% chance to lose, 49% chance to win. You extrapolate that in a long enough period of time, no matter how much money you have, will go to zero.
Normal person lost $8 million, their life is over, and their legs are broken. You're the only one with another side to this whole thing. Where, to be clear, that other side is reportedly getting paid $100 million.
He has 92% of that $100 million contract left.
And to be clear, it's a lot of people taking these deals. I'm not trying to single anyone out. Let's also take Kevin Hart, right? One of the world's smallest...
Yeah, but it's Kevin Hart. He's small and funny, so he gets a pass.
Comedians. He pushes DraftKings. And this one I find really bizarre.
Do me a favor, man. Go to the DraftKings app. Look at what I'm betting on. Look at why I'm betting on. Place your bets. All the action is here. DraftKings, Kevin Hart.
I'm not even going to ask why Kevin needs you to get on DraftKings.
Follow what I'm betting on, guys. Oh, no, I lost. Oh, you guys all lost too? Shouldn't have followed me. Use your own brain. When you give financial advice, you have to disclose that you're not a financial advisor or you're at risk of being sued. That's why every time I say oh, I'm buying this or selling that, I say I'm not a financial advisor because someone could sue me. He's just straight up doing it without the need to say the line. That's kind of funny.
Like, the fact is he's worth a reported $450 million. But the real
only
thing I
$450?
find so gross about this is that Kevin Hart has gone on podcasts and talked about the need for financial literacy. You know, he talked about this on Joe Rogan.
The biggest problem within our community is knowledge.
That's why after a bunch of kids, so I've seen this before in real hand. So one time I was in Dallas and was at a convention center there for my sister. She did dance. And while we were there was an NBA convention for a bunch of basketball players. I didn't watch sports, but they were like taking pictures with some of the dancers because they were popular. I just didn't know it. They were there for a financial literacy class because they were signing $1 million of contracts. And then once they leave the NBA, they'd be broke in like 2 weeks because they blow through all their money. They were doing everything in their power to try to educate their players to make investments to save their money. So after they get an injury and they can no longer play, they're not forced to work at Walmart for the rest of their life. Financial literacy is the only way this ends.
We don't know. Debt is welcomed.
I learned the hard way. I never had a credit card growing up because I saw my dad would always put a lot of financial debt on credit cards, and I realized they're scary. Now that I'm an adult, I use credit cards for everything because I pay it off and I get cash back. I make money off using credit cards. And I know that's not the case for everyone, and that's the reason they exist. A lot of people can make decent money off using a credit card, and there's more people that will lose everything off using money for a credit card. There's a lot of financial illiteracy out there.
Because it's celebrated. That's all we know. The knowledge isn't given. So it's not till you obtain that.
They don't teach you how to file your taxes in high school. They don't teach you about interest rates in high school. I had one teacher that took a week off teaching us, I think it was poli-sci or it was health. He just taught us how to file taxes. He taught us how about time value money. He taught us about interest rates on cars, credit cards, how you'd pay it off, what's the value of it 10 years, how to do the math on it. Because he had gone through not a divorce. He filed for bankruptcy and he didn't know. And he's like, look, this has ruined my life, so I'm going to try to help y'all out. And I was like a freshman. I didn't know any of this stuff. And then looking back on it, that was the nicest thing a teacher's really ever done for me in all of my high school education, was to try to not get me screwed over the moment I turned 18.
Knowledge and understanding that you go, oh, this is why you put money up. This is how you increase versus decrease. Oh, this is how you earn on your money. Oh, wow. I can gain wealth by investing in what? The stock world is what? How many people partake in the stock world? And there's
everyone.
Part that isn't necessarily gambling.
You partake in stocks whether or not you realize it. Working for a company, you're more than likely partaking in the stocks by helping increase their shareholder value.
Is there a low risk part?
So yeah, there are a lot of high risk. There's lower risk. There's medium risk. There's always risk in the market. Some things are more stable than others.
The information isn't there.
Nope.
Yeah, Kev, maybe
you gotta look it up.
Information isn't there on the stock market part, which isn't gambling, because you're too busy telling them about actual gambling. Understand that Kevin Hart is not just a guy who sometimes talks about it on podcasts either. He has a whole partnership, an actual partnership with Chase Bank, where they ran a campaign to improve financial literacy. But then Kevin goes...
That means he got paid for that and then is now getting paid for the gambling, and he's just taking whatever payments come his way because he already sold his soul. That's what that boils down to.
Goes on the side and he's pushing DraftKings, which preys on people's financial illiteracy. And while we're talking about small comedians with big bank accounts, let's talk about Joe Rogan too. And listen, I'm not trying to be high and mighty with all this stuff. I know it sounds a bit like that, but believe me, I am eye level with these guys. Okay, I'm very short too. You can't tell behind the $10 million studio desk, but no offense is intended here.
We can, the editor.
We got to discuss though how the biggest comedians in the world, biggest, smallest comedians, are pushing DraftKings. Didn't Joe get a $250 million deal from Spotify? I didn't realize before this video, like, how many gambling ads he has been running recently. In the month of September alone, there were 11 DraftKings ads in 14 videos. And with
everyone's doing it, so why not? Why am I not making money off of it? It's what it boils down to. It's what it keeps boiling down to.
Joe especially, it's weird because he's the guy who rants against big pharma's manipulation.
That's exactly what I was thinking too. It's like he's the anti-establishment and now he's shilling for the establishment. That's the first thing I was thinking too.
Advertising.
If you can advertise, you can manipulate people and change their opinion based on
Look at what happened with the COVID vaccine. He's exactly right.
theatrics.
So many.
Everyone gets a free bet.
We all want to win. Hey, let's win together.
It's Batman! Batman's gambling?
You know what to do. You have
That's the guy from Django Unchained.
music and people dancing and whole.
I don't actually know a lot of celebrity names. I don't know either of who those guys, what their actual name is. One might be something Fox. I think the black guy was something Fox. I don't remember. I'm terrible at celebrity names. I just know the roles that they've played. So,
holding hands and spinning around in a wheat field. Like, that is so manipulative. And we are subject to manipulation.
look at the DraftKings. They press a button, they're winning $10 million. That's not manipulative at all, Joe.
And when it's something that is so...
More than likely, his logic is he isn't showing that. He's just telling you can go gamble if you want to, as opposed to being in an ad where everyone's winning $10 bajillion around him. That's more than likely his self-cope, if you will.
Important. Like making critical health decisions. There's so many of these commercials. Like, so many times I'm watching television, I'm like, how many goddamn drug commercials are there?
By the way, I agree with him. We are being manipulated. But change a few words from that rant, and you could say the exact same thing about how...
Apply parallelism. If you can't apply a parallelism, and if you try to apply it and then your values change, you probably didn't have a value to begin with, is what it normally boils down to.
Gambling is pushed. Casinos are also manipulative. They don't advertise the actual reality where people lose. Instead, they say things like winning, cashing in, opportunity. And Joe Rogan's a part of that.
Every game is another chance to cash in. Don't just watch the action, win with it. Every snap is loaded with opportunity.
That is just as manipulative as pharma ads pushing pills.
Lose weight now. Help yourself live a happier life, healthier life.
That may end up addicting you. In both cases, the collateral damage are the addicts we created along the way. And I guess I have to ask.
Those aren't addicts. Those are future permanent customers.
Saying, oh, one's worse than the other. Is there that much of a difference between a drug addict and a gambling addict? No, really, I'm asking.
It's like if you see the drug addict, you see him, he's shooting up or whatever it is, and you see him fainting, you go, oh, that poor bastard. But when you see a guy who's fully in the grips of gambling, trying to figure out how to get his money back, and he's all jazzed up with adrenaline, he doesn't understand.
XQC. Except he's already rich. He doesn't need to make his money back. He's just gambling because he can. He's the one exception of he's so filthy rich, it does not matter.
Understand why?
It's just like cocaine. It's just like drug abuse. It's just like the opiate problem. It's just like anything else. It could. You and I both know people who have lost their lives gambling. Okay, you've seen people in pool halls.
Did he have a DraftKings ad before this episode?
There's no difference in the drug
during this episode.
Not at all. No difference.
So there is no difference. Then why do we shake our head at the Sackler family and pharmaceutical execs who push pills that ruin people's lives, but somehow nobody cares we're doing a very similar thing with gambling?
This is true. And you could try to say it's something like you need the pills, or it's people that don't know there's alternatives versus gamblers that are doing it because they're only gambling responsibly. They're only using the disposable income that they have until it's no longer disposable and they're cripply addicted and they're going to keep gambling and now they ruin their lives. You can make a little bit of a difference here. I don't think it's that big of a distinction. This is very, very similar with these two metaphors.
Every level of society, we are shoving this down people's throats. And it's not that I mind if people gamble individually, but we are pushing it on people who otherwise would not have done it because everything is gambling now.
Like I said, my friend that downloaded a sports betting app to gamble on the Super Bowl when she knows nothing about sports. That was hilarious to me.
Sports to entertainment to investing, it is totally inescapable, and we're moving the casino from Vegas directly into people's pockets, connecting to their bank accounts. I don't know exactly how this is going to end, but it doesn't take a genius to see where it's going to.
Honestly, I don't think Trump would pass any legislation because he's already making a killing off crypto, and his son is on the board of advisors for two gambling, Polymarket and Takashi, right? Donald Trump Jr. said that earlier in this video, I believe. So I don't see Trump doing anything for it. I don't. Maybe some senators in Congress pass some laws. I doubt.
Gambling is going to be a much larger problem for people and especially young men. And the saddest part is there's no amount of data or facts that I can give you that's going to stop that.
Yeah.
There's just too much money at stake.
The only thing that's going to fix this is educating financially, making people more financially literate at a younger age. The sooner, the better. Are you shout to Joe Rogan, Theo Von, bad friends, blah, blah, blah for a comment? Theo Von and Nelk responded for a comment. Regarding online sports books or winning cash on sports, we currently work with Prize Picks. Between us, I enjoy betting very mildly on sports. He likes it, so he's getting paid for it. It makes the games more fun, but I'm also aware of the risks that it can pose, though probably not very knowledgeable because I haven't had those same exact issues. I'm rich and it doesn't affect me with the problem, so I don't care. It's like that dude who was like, I think it was a soccer game or football game, and one of the teams makes a touchdown, and he lost some sports bet, and he immediately punches a hole through his TV and then starts grabbing and slamming it on the ground at some Super Bowl party. The videos like that are becoming more and more common with every game because people are putting their entire life savings and losing it all in an instant. We make sure to follow guidelines from our sponsors, though it's worth being more intentional about emphasizing those risks to listeners. Yeah. I feel like in the podcasting space, there's a decent amount of regulation in our ad reads. I try to remember to advise listeners that gambling may not be the right for them, but I do often forget about that, TBH. Only affiliate themselves with legal platforms like Prize Picks and play by the rules. Doing it right.
Hey.
Theo Vaughn is more of a human celebrity to me. He's very realistic. He's down to earth. He's very open. That's why his response was much better.
Come back to the bar and let me fix you a drink. The weather isn't changing anytime soon.
Can you gamble on whether or not the weather changes the next 20 minutes? I see a DraftKings logo in the distance. I see a fan book. I think that's Polymarket that owns the Future Corporation.
You know, all it would take is basic advertising rules or legislative.
That's what RFK is trying to do with pills right now. That's what he's trying to do, is get the pharmaceutical companies' grip on America removed so they're not constantly advertising their pills, showing your life's so much better if you take this pill.
Change to put a stop to half of this stuff.
That's the thing. Money makes the world move, Coffee.
Money makes the world go round, goddamn.
And the people who write the rules like them just the way they are.
Do you really think it's worth all of this, though? Like, just for a little more money?
Hey, you said it yourself, didn't you? It's not just a little money. It's a lot more money.
$100 million.
If people would sell their...
You have $1 billion and someone offers you $2 billion and you got that $1 billion because you like money, you're going to take the $2 billion because you like money.
Sold for $100 million. Well, imagine what they do for billions.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it is time for that drink.
How dare Coffee talk about degenerate gamblers, and he's going for an alcoholic beverage. What a degenerate drinker. Joke.
You're gonna tip this time, right?
Here's a tip for you. Shove it up your ass. Man, he is supported like crazy. The minute and a half of him shouting out everyone on Patreon, I presume? I can't see my mouse. I'm actually losing my mouse on the wall of text. Wow. Yeah, I'm going to post the video in the description if you want to go watch it. Make sure to give him a like as well. If you like my video, feel free to like it, comment, or subscribe. Coffeezilla has been doing some pretty good journalistic integrity, especially in the crypto and gambling space now, because crypto is so heavily in the gambling sphere. They used to use crypto to be able to bypass all the gambling laws because you're using cryptocurrency because you can't connect your bank account. So, not surprised that it's only gotten worse, and it probably will continue to get worse until, unfortunately, someone passes some legislation or you see enough people lose enough money to where they start making an outroar, making an outcry to politicians to change something. It's the best thing to do is educate yourself about statistics and financially literate yourself about any way, shape, or form on gambling, investments. All of that is the best thing you can do for yourself in the long run in your life. Time can't ever go backwards. You can't ever change a bet. You can't ever change your investment. The best thing you can do is learn from it and move on. And if you want to learn more, there's YouTube, there's Twitter, there's tons of other open spaces out there with readily available information. If you're going to Twitter, though, I would definitely take that with a grain of salt. If you do want to learn more about any of this stuff, look it up. That's your best bet. Ask ChatGPT, ask Grok. I want to be more financially literate. Where do I go? Where's a good place to start? What's a good book to read? That is the best thing you can do for yourself. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Hopefully you like this video, and if you do, hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Until then, later.